Okay, well, it's 10:30, so as people come in, we'll go ahead and have them continue to come in. We've got people coming in still. We are going to record this meeting and put it up on our link tree, so those who couldn't make it will have the opportunity to see it at a later date. Amy is a past state president from 2021 and is still involved with many different committees, strategic planning committee, as well as she's been on budget and finance, a lot of past committees with the state, and she's always been a great asset to give her knowledge of being a past president, as well as a trainer with teaching women basically how to be better leaders. So Amy, I will give it to you and take it away.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. How are you? So for those of you who don't have your cameras on, if there's any way possible for you to turn it on, I'm all about seeing you, watching reactions, communicating. So if you can, I'd love it. I understand that not everyone is in a place where they can. So good morning. So Denise, tell me who I have on the call. I have some people from the executive line. I have 2024 DVPs, 2025 potential DVPs, and 2025 presidents.
Correct. Yep. Little bit of
Okay.
everything.
Little
And then
bit of
you have,
everything.
like, for example, Angela Kester is a 2024 president, but she's a vice chair, will be a chair next year for strategic partner committee. So yeah, got a range of everyone on the call.
Perfect. Is it all women?
Yes.
Okay. Gotta love strong women. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Amy Snook. I feel like I know most of you, but for those I haven't met in person, I look forward to meeting you, hopefully in January at convention. So I appreciate the opportunity to get together. Hello, Miss Charmaine, to see your beautiful face. I am going to share my screen. Give me just a moment, and let's jump right in. Denise, what do I have? About 30 minutes, and then we'll open it up for a Q&A. Sound good? Okay. There you go. Bear with me 1 second. Sorry, it gets a little confusing when I have, there you go, a couple screens. So what I don't, I can see you guys over on the right. One of the challenges to having 4 screens in front of me is I never know where to look. So I guess I'm going to look here. If you see the side of my head, look at the screen for the presentation. Why is it so? There you go. Management versus leadership. Okay. I'm going to ask people to unmute for a second. Can you share with me what it means to you? Why are we even talking about management versus leadership? Anyone have a thought on what the difference is and why it matters?
I'll start.
Thank you.
So I will tell you a quote that I absolutely love from Simon Sinek that says, "A boss has the title, a leader has the people."
Isn't that the truth? I love that. Well said. Well said. So let's hold on that point then, because you gave me a great segue.
Okay.
So no different than, and everyone knows this quote. I know you do, but I want to talk about that as it relates today to Maya Angelou's quote. "I've learned that people forget what you said, people forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel." And let's talk about that for a minute. So now you're going to have to talk, people, and it's got to be someone other than Denise the whole time, although I love what Denise has to say. I want to ask you guys, and I'm going to stop sharing for just a second because I want to see your faces. I got to figure out how to stop sharing. Okay. Hold on. I lost my screen. Forgive me. Denise, stop sharing. Okay, got it.
Got it. Okay.
Yep. Sorry. Guys, I want to hear from you. Tell me one positive interaction you've had with any human in any field, doesn't have to be real estate, in the past year. Anyone want to share an experience? Someone at Starbucks who was just so warm and friendly. Anyone, a waiter, waitress, anything. Maybe this is an easier question. Tell me one negative experience. You don't need to raise your hand. Just jump in.
Hi, this is Gladys from Osceola.
Hi, Gladys. Hi, Gladys.
I think a surprise call, I would say something nice, is when someone call you and say, I was thinking about you, and you helped me buy a home. I think I should say thank you because what I have is because of you. So that would be I mean, that's a surprising call from someone, and that makes you feel a lot good.
Agree. So that's how they made you feel because you took care of them. And I love that. Has anyone had a positive experience? Go ahead. Well, I'm pointing like you guys have any idea where I'm pointing. I'm so sorry. Susan first, and then forgive, is it, tell me how to say your name. No, not Susan. Surrealis? Yes, Surrealis. Okay, Susan, you go first.
So I recently had a parent-teacher conference for my 13-year-old son, and the teacher's been teaching for 23 years, and she said she's waited her entire career to meet a student like my son, that he's been just such a great gentleman to have and just an amazing student to have in class. So that was like an amazing conversation for somebody.
Wonderful.
You know, your son's a perfect kid.
I love it. So let me pause for 1 second of that. You loved her words and her message. What
Correct.
did you love? Is it a female teacher?
It was a female teacher.
What did you love about her?
Just the way that she spoke of him.
And that she cared?
That she cared about it.
Yeah.
And that, you know, so many times you send your kids off to perfect strangers and you're terrified that these strangers don't care about your children or their future. They're just doing a job. And you could tell she had passion for the children.
That's exactly the word I was about to say. So you felt her passion. Is that true?
Correct.
And it resonated with you because it made it feel real.
Yes.
Right? Okay. I love that. Hold that thought. Surrealis. If I'm not right on the name, I'm sorry.
You're right. You're right. So this morning I woke up to this text message, and it really like brought tears to my eyes, because it's one of our leaders that's been growing, and she was able to open up with us about a tragedy that she had on a relationship, and she's been very heavily involved with Care Day. And we've, you know, been encouraging her. She doesn't really fully speak English. She's already now starting to. So we've been like nurturing. And then when I get this message that she's like, it was in Spanish, but basically she's like, I'm thankful for having, for God having put an exceptional woman like you. You're a model as a mother, a wife, a leader, community, and professional. And when you see, and it goes on, but the point is that when you touch certain individuals, it's not about the pack, even though we want to touch everyone. But when you see the progress and those that are like, they're hidden, they're in the background, but they're there. And yesterday we also had our awards, and I acknowledge certain individuals that they didn't get the network award, but they have been putting in the work, and they're brilliant, and we really want to raise them. And they think that we don't know, but we know if we're looking for that. So it feels good. And my husband always asks me, why are you doing all of this? It's so much work for you. And I said, because I like it. I feel full. It fills my cup, and it's lifting others. And we don't know what it does to them, but it makes their life better. Now, we're not always perfect. I've had bad experiences. I feel like when you're in this role, sometimes you're managing more than you're leading. And it's a hard balance, because you're trying to get things done, and it becomes more of a like
Minutia.
a managing role versus a leading role. And you are leading, but at the same time, you're like trying to get everything and everyone, and it's not working out all the time.
Agree. And we're going to talk about that. So first of all, I want to thank.
I really would like to step into more of like a leadership role versus the managing part. I take grace in all of it, because even the challenges make us stronger and they make us grow. But really, it's not really what you desire. You want to be more of a leader versus a manager, telling people what to do, when to do it, and if not, doing it on the back end.
So I am going to share with you that, my friend, I would argue that you are very much a leader. Your emotion is coming through the phone and through Zoom, and I'm sure everyone agrees, but you impacted that person. And to receive a text like that is life-changing. I'm going to share a story with you guys where I talk about a negative experience. Have any of you all ever had an experience where, I don't know, you go to a restaurant and the waiter is just taking your order, not looking at you, waiter or waitress taking your order, not looking at you, very short with you, so obviously annoyed. And do you not want to say to them, but you don't for fear of them doing something to your food, do you not want to say to them, have I done something to offend you? Has anyone had an experience like that? And what happens when that happens? Because I know for me, I just don't want to go to that restaurant again. When it has probably nothing to do with that restaurant, it's one bad person, one bad experience, or one great person having a bad day. The interaction with others, you have no idea to what degree you can impact someone's world, positive or negative. I posted a quote on my Facebook page. Once in a lifetime, you meet someone who changes everything. I'm sure everyone's heard that quote. Do you not instantly think of a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife when you hear that quote? But I'm going to argue, and I'm going to encourage you, that I'm telling you that quote speaks directly to leadership. You do not know your ability or your impact, big or small, to impact someone else's life. I'm going to keep moving for sake of time here. So managers versus leaders. So to your point, Zuriel, you said it, managers ensure the tasks are done, but leaders ensure that the tasks are done for the right reason and to inspire others to move. Does that make sense? Yep. So as a leader, do you still have to do managerial tasks? Of course you do. Of course you do. But you have to be intentional about where and when. So let's dig in here. A manager, no, I'm going to ask someone to read this. Who would like to read it? Someone who hasn't spoken.
You can read it.
Please. Hi, North.
A manager focuses on maintaining structure, efficiency, and control within the organization. Their primary responsibilities involve planning, organizing, and ensuring that day-to-day tasks are completed to achieve specific goals. Managers rely on established process and often take a more directive approach, ensuring consistency and stability in operations. Their influence is often based on their position and authority within the organization.
Thank you. Perfect. So, guys, let's talk about that for a second. To me, a manager is a title. I'm a manager. I got a title. Just because I have a title and I can wield power in that title, does that mean people will follow me? They might do what you ask for fear of repercussions, but will they grow? Will they take it to the next level? Will they achieve team goals? Maybe, maybe not. Leader, who would like to read this one? Someone who hasn't spoken, please.
Can't see it.
I don't know
will,
who's
Amy.
speaking.
It's Maria Elena.
Oh, hi, Maria Elena. Go ahead, please.
Okay. The leader, on the other hand, is someone who inspires, motivates, and guides others towards a shared vision or goal. Leaders prioritize innovation, change, and long-term growth. They create an environment where team members feel empowered and valued, encouraging them to reach their potential. Rather than relying solely on authority, leaders influence through trust, respect, and example, often inspiring others by embodying the values and visions they promote.
So, guys, to me, managers are managing tasks. This is the person typically where you go to them, I need to talk to you about something, and they just fix it for you. I'll take care of it. I know how to fix it, right? And there's times it's very appropriate, but the leader is going to sit down, talk, coach, help you understand how you can get past this issue, how you can grow, what can we put in place to help us get there. So, let's talk about what is no matter what leadership role you're in, right? And I've heard a lot of different roles on this call. What do you think your primary function is in 2025? Obviously, it's much broader than this, but I'm going to share this. To be present and available for your team, fostering a culture of trust and open communication, right? To unify leadership, ensure that your leadership team or direct reports are aligned, collaborating effectively, and consistently working towards the established shared goal. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yes.
So for you to be present and available for your team and to ensure the team understands they are a cog in a wheel, and I don't mean to downplay the importance of their role, but my point is everybody plays a role in achieving the shared goal. And who sets the shared goal for the team? Who sets the shared goal for the team?
President.
No, sorry,
leader.
Maria. Nope. Nope. Who sets a shared goal for the team?
The whole team,
The
the whole
team.
board.
The team. There is not a chance in the world that everyone is going to run hard to accomplish a goal if they weren't involved in setting that goal. So and Maria Elena, at the end of the day, the buck stops with the leader. You could not be more right. But a successful leader, not manager, gets the whole team together. And this is why we say do strategy planning sessions with your team, getting everyone's buy-in to the common goal. And they need to understand their role in achieving that goal. They need to understand their lane. Does that make sense? Right. So the biggest mistake that I have seen new leaders, probably better said managers who think they're leaders but are still living in the manager's role make, is they say, here's our goal for this year. Membership, you need 13 new people. Events, I want you to have 7 events. I need 100 people at each event. Guys, you're dictating to your people. They have no passion and no buy-in. But if they set the goal of 10, and you say, what an awesome goal. What are we doing when we get to 10? How do we celebrate this success? What do you want to do? I want to go to happy hour. See, I'm always going to pick happy hour. You guys might pick something that's not alcohol. That's just me. But I want to go to happy hour. I want to go dancing. I just want to celebrate. Great. What a clue you've been given as a leader. They care about hitting their goal and they want to separate it. So you as a leader, what is your role? You better darn well make sure they're hitting their goal. And how do you do that? You need as a leader to be maybe doing monthly, quarterly meetings with them. What are they doing to get there? How can you help them? What obstacles are in their way? How can you coach them to ensure they hit their goal? And if their goal is 10 for the year, what should be the target for halfway during the year? At least half. If they only have 2 by June, what does that tell you? Something not working. What can we do to help you achieve this goal? Because keep in mind, when they achieve their goal, what happens for you in your year as leadership and for your whole team? You're hitting your goals, right? You just need them focused on their piece of the puzzle. Does that make sense? Okay. I'm going back to share. I should never stop and start because I'm so bad at it. All right, hold on. All right, continuing on. So for you to accomplish this in 2025, what needs to happen between now and December 31st? Hold on. You need to get together with your team and develop a strategic plan, not for them, but with them, with everybody agreeing on their contribution and you clearly articulating how you're going to help them. We're going to get together quarterly. We're going to have a sub-strategy session. I'm going to be attending your committee meetings. And when you attend their committee meetings, what is your role? When you attend their committee meetings, what is your role?
To listen.
Say it again.
To listen.
To listen.
To listen.
And guide them.
Great. So if it is their first time in their new role, first time in a leadership role, and they have an agenda for their meeting, when you're sitting there in front of them and their committee, is that the first time you should be seeing the agenda?
No.
No, you failed. It's too late. So if they're new in the role, great. Do you know how to create an agenda? No, let's do this first one together. Then they present it on the call. Or no, yeah, I know how to do it. Great. Send it to me for review. That is your role as a leader, not to do, but to coach. So getting the clearly defined strategic plan for the year, and then your personal goal. How many people on this call are realtors? Majority. How many people on this call have a business plan for their own personal business? How many people think maybe they should lie to me and say yes? A lot. My point is, you have to lead by example, guys. You have to lead by example. And for you to lead by example, you better have your ducks in a row that come January, you're executing, not planning, for the Women's Council leadership role and for your own personal business. So if you haven't brought your team together, if you're a district vice president, it's your local network presidents. If you're local network presidents, it's your, what do we don't call it the board anymore, do we? We call it a board for the network. The network.
Yeah, it's still a
line,
board.
right? So in addition to the see the vernacular, the terminology is all changed. I'm just going with what I know. Feel free to correct me. But in addition to the president-elect, the secretary, treasurer, I know those aren't the right titles anymore. Your committee chairs, and I know they're not even called committees anymore, but let's go with it. You all know what I'm talking about. They need to be sitting at the table when you're developing the strategic plan. Why? They're succeeding in their committee, their task, whatever it is. Can you see how that can help you achieve your overall common goal? Right? Everyone needs to be firing on all cylinders. Does that mean that you might not have to relieve someone of their duties this year? You're a leader. You very well may have to, right? But before you do that, you better make sure you've coached them and given them every opportunity to help them grow. You better make sure that you understand what's happening in their personal and professional life. Because to Suri Ellis's point before, there was something going on in her team member's life. You better know it. It impacts. And you can't push someone through a tough time in their life and make them do their Women's Council volunteer role. You might have to have people step in and help. That's a leader. But you know what's going on. They didn't drop the mic. They're struggling in life. We're humans. Be human. But you can't be human unless you've taken the time to get to know your people. Managers don't necessarily know their people. Leaders know their people. Do leaders go out and have drinks every Friday night with their subordinates? You can, but you better leave before you get tipsy. And you better be careful what you tell them. You are still the leader and you need to hire and fire. So you want to be close at a distance. Does that make sense? Be appropriate. You're at January convention, leaders. You're not the last one sitting at the bar drinking. I promise you that. You will be pulled out by the state executive line. You're there, you mingle, you're professional, and you lead. You are a role model, and I promise you, you're being watched. So if you don't have your business plan for your personal business set up for 2025, and you haven't done your strategic plan with your team for 2025, get it on the calendar. Does anyone disagree with that?
No.
Anyone too scared to tell me they disagree with that? All right, back to the presentation. All right, so continuing on, bear with me. How to transition from a manager to a leader. I'm going to give you the world according to Amy, my tips that I will tell you. If you remember these, it will stop you in your tracks and you can reset when you're doing the wrong thing. Empower, don't micromanage. Move away from controlling every detail. Instead, empower your team by giving them autonomy, encouraging them to take ownership and supporting their growth. Guys, they will make mistakes, and I will tell you, you need them to make mistakes. I said it. Let them. It's hard, isn't it? Let them. Why? It's an opportunity for you to step in and coach. It's a two-way conversation. Don't lecture them, coach them, listen. You need to listen more than you've ever listened. Trust me, they drop little clues and breadcrumbs when you're listening. Let them infuse their own style, all while staying in the confines of the agreed upon business plan. It doesn't have to be your style. And I will say that was one of my toughest things for me as a leader coming into the president role for Women's Council. You know, we were going to, Denise, you and I just talked about this. We were going to our retreat for our leadership retreat. And we had all the district vice presidents presenting at it. So prior to them presenting, we made them present to us prior to presenting to the rest of the state leadership team. We probably had to have them do it 3 times before it was ready to go. Was that a weakness on their part? No, they just didn't have the experience. You don't know what you don't know. So don't assume that the people on your team are not doing a great job because they don't care. They just might not know how. Does that make sense? Okay. Continuing on, focus on people development. Not that they achieve the 10 new members for the year, develop them so they can achieve the 10 members. Invest time. Part of your job in 2025 is to spend time with your direct reports or anyone you can influence in that regard. Spend time, do one-on-ones, provide regular feedback. Good or bad, guys, you got to get comfortable giving negative feedback, or let's say it differently, areas of improvement. Mentor them, help them achieve their goals. Where do you start? I would have a one-on-one schedule with every one of your direct reports, and I would do it in 2024. If you're local to them, go take them to lunch. Don't do alcohol for this one. I can't believe I'm saying that. Take them to lunch, have real conversations. If they're remote, then you do it via Zoom. But look at them. Don't do it phone call. Tactical goals. For example, like I said, the membership director, what is your goal for this year? What would make it a success? What do you want to do to celebrate? And then train and coach. Personal growth, you need to understand their personal growth. They have a fear of public speaking. You know what? We're going to get you in Toastmasters. You guys sit down with all your direct reports and you hear them, every one of them say, I'm not comfortable in this area. Maybe then you figure out a budget or a way to do $100 per person so they can go take an online class. I'm terrible at Excel. Great. You're going to take an online class. You have a budget of $100. Go make it work. Does that make sense? Right? Okay. Embrace change and innovation. Be open, guys, as a leader to ideas and encourage innovations. Leaders look for ways to improve and adapt, fostering a culture that embraces growth and change. You have a vision for this year, guys. Be ready that it might be derailed quickly and you go in a different path based upon input from your people. Build trust and credibility. I will tell you, I think this is the number one. Be authentic. And anyone who's worked with me in the past knows that's a big thing for me, authentic leadership. Communicate openly and follow through on your commitments. Do not promise something that you don't fulfill. Do not. You lose credibility. Trust is essential for inspiring others and is built by demonstrating integrity and consistency. You lead by example. Oh, that was a good segue. Lead by example. Model the behaviors and values you want to see in your team. This includes accountability, resilience, and positive attitude, which is why I'm saying your business plans for your personal business and your women's council have to happen in 2024, because what happens January 1st of 2025? You're off and running. You better not be planning. You could pivot, but your plan better be in place. Listen and connect. Be quiet. Listen. Shift from directing to actively listening. There are times that you need to give just direction and not listen. I don't want this to be misconstrued. There are times that's very appropriate. But as it relates to grooming your people, helping them establish goals, etc., listen. Understand your team's need, challenges, and motivations, and be genuine. And to build genuine relationships to foster supportive environment. You might hear that your style is not working with your team. Do they need to change or do you? Most likely it's you, maybe sometimes them. So guys, this transition requires a mindset shift from managing tasks to inspiring and developing people, leading them towards a shared vision. I'm going to stop sharing because I have thrown up on you a lot in the past 25 minutes. Now let's talk. Did I say anything that you went, gulp, holy cow, this scares me, I don't know where to start? Does anyone have any concerns or, hey, how do I do this?
No, this is very good information, very useful. And there's some tips there that will help us, definitely.
I thank you. I would encourage you, and Denise, I can send this to you and you can send it out. The list of items at the end would be a great document to print and have at your desk, that you're in moments of frustration because someone in your team is not firing on all cylinders. Your natural reaction is probably, or maybe this is just me, to eat them for breakfast. Just, God, you're getting in the way of my achieving my goals. That doesn't work for me. But that's not a leader, right? It is, hey, and let's talk about one of those conversations. Hey, Jane, feel like something's going on. Everything okay? What's going on? And stop talking. Because your goal is you want them to talk. Understand what's going on so you can help them. Anything that I've talked about that you guys go, I don't know how to do it. I don't know where to start. This scares me to death.
Amy, I have, okay.
Please, Denise, and then
Since
Charmaine, and then Melissa.
we have DVPs for 2025, and I know there's some future DVPs on the call. What would your advice be to them? Because some of them will be handling networks that there's opportunities in those networks. Them coming in, wanting to do the right thing and trying to get them back on track, especially if their network that they're coming from was a well-oiled machine. Now they're taking over a network that has opportunities. What would be a word of advice that you could give them to step into that role and not seem like they're coming in as a boss and you need to do, how would you handle that, being
Absolutely. And that's a great question. And I will tell you, I think one of the hardest roles is district vice president, because you don't have, I'm going to use the word direct reports like in a local network, right, as local network president, but they need you. They don't know they need you. And part two of that is they have done their business plan, or hopefully did, with their network. They know where they want to be. And even if they haven't done the business plan, they know where they want to be. So a strong network president, like I felt sorry for my district vice president back when I was president, because I just wanted her out of my way. And what I didn't realize is she could help me. I looked at it as, oh my God, she's slowing me down. I have to explain everything again. This is annoying. And it wasn't until I realized, and Chris, you're right, it was a bit more challenging. Your first step is to tread lightly, but your first step is to help them understand you are here to help them, not the other way around. You are here to help them. So I would suggest is your first meeting is, if you can do it face to face, even better. If you can, it's via Zoom, but if you can get there, get there. It is, I have sat in your shoes. I know how excited you are for your role. My job is to not slow you down, but to help you exceed your goals. How can I help? And just listen. And if the answer is I can't help, then you're going to have a bigger task to help them understand you can. But you want them to look at it as you are linking arms to help them achieve their goal. You're not here and they're below you. You are linking arms. You are a mentor on their side to accomplish their goals. And that it is what's going well, what areas of improvement, how can I help you? And then you need to be at their strategic planning session. You need to attend some of their board meetings. And no different than I talked about earlier, that you can't walk in and say, and interrupt the meeting. It's the meeting before the meeting, and it's feedback after the meeting, not during. Don't you dare undermine them in front of their subordinates. You will quickly lose any potential relationship. Does that make sense? DVP is a hard role. You got to come with is soft stick an expression, or like, am I merging 97 different expressions? Like heavy stick? Yeah, I guess it's not soft stick, but you need to like soft step into that role. Right? They need to see you bringing value where you have no value. What other questions? Thank you for that question or comments. What else can I do?
But Amy, can you hear
Yes.
me?
I can. Hi, Miss Charmaine.
Hey, how are you doing? Morning.
Good.
I lost my voice after Boston, but for me, DVP was my best role, and I love being a DVP. But I think going into the position, because you have a lot of DVP here, I think it's just to ensure that each person understand their position and how they fit into the bigger picture. And if the network have a vision for the network, you spoke about goals, right? If there's a vision for the network and everyone understand what they need to do to meet that goal, and they feel that you're listening, right, to their ideas, everyone moving in the same direction, I think when you have challenges, it will be much easier to deal with. And that's my take, because I lead by inspiring through personal influence. That is how I lead.
And that's why you are where you are. And I love that. Thank you. Any questions, comments? What else can we do to help you guys?
How about those
Now
of
we're,
you who are local
yeah.
presidents or president-elects coming into the position you're in? What kind of questions would you have for Amy?
I expect to see you guys nailing it next year if there are no questions.
I have a question, but for DVP, for the DVP role, are we gonna have, I guess, like, obviously we understand we're there to listen, to carry out their vision, give advice when needed. But for us ourselves, are we gonna have like a list of items that we need to focus with them so they could be successful?
Can
Or
I, Denise?
just
Yeah.
do we just use the playbook as sort of a guide for them to be guided?
So, Denise, can I take a swag at this and then I can turn it over to you and Jermaine or Catherine? Whoever. So yes, but you just went tactical on us. So let's talk about that for a second. Are there tasks that you're going to have to help them manage to? Yes, there are. You're right. There are things, and the state line will give you these are the things that need to happen. Make sure they're doing this, make sure they do that. So I'll leave that. But I will tell you, non-tactical, no different than as a local network president, coaching and grooming people. You have a unique opportunity to help coach and groom the local network presidents to achieve their goals. You're in the background. They achieve their goals. They succeed. Their network succeeds. You're not, this DVP is it is not a pretty role in that there's no glory for you. There's no glamour for you, but your success is when your networks succeed. So you will have a list of tactical items. Is that fair to say? Denise, Charmaine, I can see you, both of you on the call. But to me, that is important. But more important is the coaching and the grooming, or as important.
Right.
But
I
you will.
guess what I'm saying is when you speak about making a plan for my next role is if I need to add in anything in specific and if there's, any time frame that I need. I know that my main role is to support and to be the communicator between them and the state line if needed, and to help them with whatever words or experiences that I have if they ask, and to carry out, listen to them and make sure that if they need to carry out a task that is difficult for them and I don't know, get the right source to help them.
Yes. So I'm going to say this, and I don't, I appreciate your voicing this. So I don't want this to come off the wrong way. 100% of everything you just said was reactive, meaning I'm there to answer their questions. I'm there if they have an issue.
Right.
I don't want to spoon feed you words or else, but I want you to tell me now, what proactive things are you going to do in the DV? You're a 2025 DVP?
Yes.
Yes. So tell me some proactive things you can do as a 2025 district vice president with your local network presidents.
So proactive would be to ask them if they have a business plan. If they don't have a business plan, if they have a guide or a calendar of what they want to do, right? Wouldn't that be proactive to ask them if they have that, if they have their summit prepared, if they need any extra help with anything ahead of time?
Yes. And I'm going to take it one step further. Jane Doe, local network president. Have you already done your strategic business planning session with your networks? No, it's not on the calendar. When are you planning to do it? That's question one. Question two is, have you ever done and led a strategic business planning session? Yes or no? How can I help you? Would you like to do this together? You lead it. I'm behind the scenes. Would you like me to help you prepare for this? So again, it's the coaching, the development, not just the checkbox. Do you have it? And I'm not saying you were just saying the checkbox, but I want to articulate to everyone, you got to peel back the onion and go deeper. We make assumptions because they have the title, they know how to do it. I'm here to tell you, most of them have no clue. Local network presidents on the call. How many of you has truly led a strategic business planning session in the past? You've participated, but have you led? Right. So what a great opportunity, state line, and I know Natalie's not on this call, right? Is that what a great opportunity, Charmaine, I'll come to you 1 second, for district vice presidents and local network presidents, and whether the DVP is reaching out to the local network, or I just saw that question in the chat, the local networks reaching out to DVP. You guys are partners in crime this year. You are there to help each other, support each other, lift each other up. Local network president can be a thankless job, people. You are running like hamsters on a wheel, which is why having your business plan in place for your own business is essential. Liz, I see you have a question as well. I'll be there in a second. But you all need to work together and not just be there when balls get dropped, but to help make sure that they do not. Some of it is tactical. Have this done in your playbook, have this done. But a lot of it is, okay, district vice president to local network president, do you have one-on-one set up with your leadership team for first quarter? Do you want to role play a little bit about what that meeting will be about? Do you want to talk about how to structure that meeting? Do you want to role play if you need to give some advice that is an area of opportunity versus just praise? It is helping them accomplish that meeting. That is the role of a successful DVP. And I would argue that most DVPs have been checkbox. Okay, my networks did this. I'm going to create a spreadsheet and I'm going to say, okay, they submitted this. My job's done. No, that's a small that's the easy part of your job. Charmaine, you had something to say, then I'm going to Liz.
Well, you said it in a nutshell. You know, DVP, I think, is really a position where you focus on the personal and the professional development of the team, meaning the entire local network board, because those are the people, the members who you're trying to push forward. So remember when we did, Amy, you and I did Member in the Box and did the template for the interview. That is where the one-on-one conversation come with those local network board, so that you can have a clear understanding of their expectation, and you can also talk about your expectation, and then you can be able to coach them better.
Absolutely. Don't lessen the importance of role playing.
Yeah.
Even if it's by yourself or you're driving in the car, practice your conversations, anticipate the response, and figure out how to handle it unemotionally.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Charmaine. Liz, you had your hand up?
Thank you, Amy.
Sure.
The other thing, I'm going back to your question of how can we be proactive with our networks this year? And it kind of goes along the lines of what you were talking about, and I think what Charmaine was talking about also in regards to, I think, to ask the president, for one, start there. What is the difference between management and leadership? Because we on this call, when you asked the question of us, it was pretty silent until some people read things that you presented. And so it makes me think, how can we help them not only fulfill the responsibilities that they have to fulfill as president, but how can we help them grow in their leadership? Because so many, I think a lot of us come in or think it this way, that when you automatically have the title, you automatically have the power.
Isn't that the
Does that
truth?
make sense? Yeah.
100%.
And so they think that there's power in the name, and as a result of the role, they automatically have the power. Well, the troops will mutiny if you come in with power and no participation, no. So I think our job as DVPs is also working specifically with the president, but possibly with the board. How do we help you grow in your leadership, not in your management, not in your execution of a network, but in your leadership? Because that will help, I believe, grow our leaders for the future. And we won't get so much management on the upper level. We'll start having leaders on the upper level, if that makes
Liz, I
sense.
love it. You couldn't have said it better. And I'm going to say this to you guys. The number one way, the area where can you guys see me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't see me in my other screens. I got me confused. Sorry. I will tell you the one area that I have said for many years, for which our state network has fallen short, forgive me, but the one greatest area of opportunity is the impact the district vice presidents could have with the local networks, because state line can't be everywhere. It is the district vice presidents helping groom our local network presidents. And I will tell you that 90% of our local network presidents stepping into this role are going to jump into the tactical management side versus leadership. And you will, as DVPs, then end up being reactive, dealing with emotional and personal issues at the local network. So Liz, I could not said it better. The number one, in my humble opinion, best thing you could do today is to have this conversation, take this PowerPoint if you so desire, make it your own, and educate them. I guarantee if you said to them, tell me the difference between management and leadership, they might be able to fumble through the conversation. I'm not sure on a day-to-day basis that they truly understand what the difference is and how to behave like a leader and not a manager. They think they do, they don't.
I would agree wholeheartedly with that. And I think it's clearly pretty obvious in situations, even in my behavior. I'll use myself as the example. I've stepped in with management behavior when I should have been operating in leadership behavior, but I fall back to the management behavior because that's the easiest for me. Because leadership takes the bullet,
right.
And so I automatically divert back. But I agree with what you're saying. Thank you.
I think, guys, the one advice I can give you, and then Denise, I'll turn it back and however you guys want to handle it, is you need to slow down and go in your head for a minute. You need to go in your head when you're in the middle of an emotional or a conversation and say, how can I be a leader versus just fixing this for the person in front of me? Because if you set your mindset to, I'm not here to just fix it, and sometimes you are here to just fix it, to be clear, but depending upon the situation and the role, if your job is to help grow them and help them understand and to empower them, change your words, change your mindset. And that's all it is. Your words will follow if your mindset changes. So unless there are any other questions or comments, I will turn it back and I will say thank you for the opportunity. I love coming to help you guys and to hear, and I am here as a resource for you when and if you need me.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Amy.
And
Good
congratulations on your team.
On my what?
Your team, the award.
Last night. That was Noreen. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, she was so excited. Thank you for seeing Facebook. Yeah.
Thank you, Amy, so much. And in the future, when we have these calls, we will invite the more of the line to come, because this is information, regardless of what position you're in at the local level, you can use membership, events, president-elect, first vice president, president. Everybody can learn to be a better leader, because obviously we grow leaders. So we want to make sure that whoever's in the position is ready to step to the next level. And everybody on this call who's a leader, especially DVPs, your goal is to find future leaders. When you're looking at your networks and you're visiting your networks, if you see someone that really is stepping up to the plate, talk to them what their future plans are. Mention it to us at the executive line, because we need volunteers always to do different things and to put them out in front of everybody else, because we don't know that unless you tell us that. So keep that in the back of your mind as well. I'm going to ask Mindy, Catherine, do you all have anything to say, or does anybody else? We'll ask Mindy and Catherine first, since they're both on the call. Any
I'd
comments?
like to add something, possibly. Can you hear me? I'd like
Yes.
to add something. Okay. Amy, thank you so much. I've been largely silent because I'm driving, and I haven't perfected the knack of muting and unmuting while I'm driving. Excellent presentation. And that is always the conundrum, leading versus managing. And I think there's just something, it's an excellent opportunity for our DVPs to start their year off with, it's sort of like the devil and the angel on your shoulder, talking to you, that to be cognizant when you're reacting or going to do something, whether you're leading or managing. And fortunately or unfortunately in Women's Council, since we have no staff, you do have to do a lot of management functions, but you don't have to think like a manager. So I just wanted to share something that worked with me. Take it if you think it will help. If not, fine. But I love being a DVP too. My first call to my president is, I'm your DVP. I'm here to help. What do you see as your biggest challenges coming up? Blah, blah, blah. The conversation was about them. Not, do you have your budget yet? Do you have your strategic plan? Get to know them. And then I set up in January when we were at conference, an impromptu in between sessions. Let's get together and get to know each other with all the networks I was under. And I think that was extremely beneficial because it was face to face. It was merely sitting in the lobby in a group of chairs and getting to know each other. And I just wanted to share that a lot of times we think it has to be something formal, and it will be down the road, like a governing board, whatever. But this is your opportunity to sort of break the ice and get them to trust you and to get to know each other. So I just wanted to share that if anyone thinks it would be helpful. We're coming on December to plan these things for January. And I just know you guys are going to be awesome. And just like you're there for your network, the state line is here for you, regardless of what position we're holding. So feel free to pick up the phone, and, we're here to mentor and help you as well.
Thank you, Catherine. Mindy?
So I would keep in the back of my mind that leadership is inspiring others to carry out a common goal. And if you can do that, you really grow as a leader. One thing I think we all get to deal with, and it's probably the most frustrating thing we deal with, is that everybody does it differently, especially in real estate, but that doesn't make it wrong. So just because it's different doesn't make it wrong. And sometimes you think, okay, I'm going to have to smack them on top of the head because that's not how you do it. Take a step back and just say, hey, what if we did it that way? And so that's kind of like my barometer when it comes to leadership.
Wonderful. Does anybody else have any other questions for Amy at all? While we've got her attention here.
Excellent program, Amy.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
guys
you.
again.
Thank
And
you,
let's-
Amy.
Let's end with Amy's quote,
Yes.
right? Let us build trust, because I think that is one thing we need to do if we're going to be leading. Make sure that the people we're leading trust us. And remember, Maya Angelou said, people will forget what you do and what you say, but they'll never, ever forget how you make them feel. And that is my number one favorite quote.
I
Thank
love
you,
that.
Amy.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Wishing everyone a great Friday and happy weekend.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Amy. Thank
All
you all
right.
for coming.
Bye.
Bye. Have a great day.
You too. I can't figure it out.